AskReddit by Baker 10923. Younger people of Reddit. What are you tired of hearing from older generations? Go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, retire, then die. Literally any and all job advice. Sorry, Deborah, but you've worked the same unionized position for 30 plus years. The number of valuable insights you can give me about the modern labor landscape numbers somewhere between diddly and squat. And Hank literally drops the walk downtown handing out resumes and shaking hands line without awareness or irony. I told my mom back in 2007, when I was fresh out of college and looking for a livable wage job, that walking resumes around town wasn't how it worked anymore. That receptionists are told to just throw the resumes away. I was a receptionist and direct folks to the website. Fast forward to 2017 and she's telling my youngest sibling the same walk resumes around shit while they job hunted after college. Just no. It's like they just can't unlearn shit. My mom and I got into a fight over housing affordability. Your father, 55, and I, 53, worked very hard to afford this house, $175k, and you make more than we did at the time we bought, 1992. The house now is worth about 1.5 M. My mom didn't work and my dad made 100k a year. I make 150k and houses in my price range are 600k 1 HR plus away from where I want to be and less than half size with less than half the lot. 100k a year in 1992 is crazy too, like apparently the average annual wage was 22k back then. Anything to the effect of young people can't have back pain or any other physical disability like, dude, I wish being in my 20s made me immune to being injured. But that's literally just not how the human body works. Yup. In my 20s also, and I have severe back and neck pain from a car accident. Anytime I mention that I'm hurting, which is all the time, but I only say something when it's so bad I can't move, I'm dramatic or too young to know real pain. Anyone at that age where they don't know if they can qualify as a younger or older person of Reddit? As a 29-year-old, tired of older people telling me I'll understand joint pain, tiredness when I'm older. I'm disabled and chronically ill. I have had bad joints since birth. Like it's great that all your health problems are a result of your age, but mine have been around and will worsen because of that. Theiis. But you're too young for. Yes, I fucking know that. Thank you. I'm 32 and have to go to bed at 8 PM if I do a few things too many. I hate it. Spooning solidarity. Eater, curtsy autocorrect, I meant spoony. I have more life experience than you, then proceeds to go on an emotionally stunted rant based on their own personal bias due to trauma they refuse to process because they know best. 34. I'm sick of hearing about how young people just spend all their time on TikTok. How they have stupid dances. How they are just staring at screens all day. Blah blah blah. Yes, they do all that stuff, but we had stupid dances when we were younger. We sat in front of the TV all day. I've yet to see someone with square eyes. Also, hearing about how young people today have no respect for their elders. MFs were doing the same shit that people today are doing now. The difference is, everyone has a camera in their pocket. I am 44 but I still feel like I am young. I am tired of hearing pretty much everything my generation says. I don't understand when everybody else just suddenly morphed into their parents. Yeah, I've run into that too. It's kinda horrifying, isn't it? A few years ago I had some acquaintances who are a couple of years younger than me bitching about those lazy millennials, by which they really meant Gen Z, and how immoral they are, and how we had it harder back in the day. Like fuck most of us did. Life in the 80s and 90s was simpler and calmer than now, and we had a lot more advantages and less chaos than the generations that came after us. When I was your age, I already had 5 kids and 2 grandchildren, or my granddaughter is your age and she already has 3 kids. When are you going to give you mom some grandkid start? I'm 30. Not that old, not that young. But this kind of comment? Definitely old for me. I'm so tired of older ladies saying this. I think I wasn't even 18 when they started. They don't accept any reasonable answer that isn't a I'm working on it. Maybe later, or I'm doing my best to get a steady career before having kids, or we are saving. Gets them on a rampage saying some BS about kids not costing a thing and that I'm getting old or that women were born to be mothers or whatever. So I started being rude. Sorry, but not sorry. Depending on how aggressive rude they get, you can throw out replies that break people's conventional autopilot responses. We're just practicing right now, but thanks for your concern. They're so judgmental and rude. I'm a restaurant worker and I swear young people are way more polite and easygoing while older people have zero patience, even though they are the ones who are already retired, oftentimes make racist, sexist, homophobic and body shaming comments and still act like they're above the younger generation simply because they've been alive for longer. The respect they demand after such behavior is wild as well. Stop eavesdropping. I'm not eavesdropping, you're just talking loud because you're deaf and I'm not. My father, you only overheard me from the other room, you don't know what I'm actually talking about. Me, I know exactly what you're talking about because I can hear you on the other side of the house. Nobody wants to work. I swear if I hear that one time I'm going to scream. Edit, I should have said nobody wants to work anymore, did we ever? Just less so now with all the abuse. Yeah, they're right. The 20+ jobs I applied to in the past year, that I'm qualified to do and wasn't hired at, really shows just how much I don't want to work. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. My parents when I was a teenager in the late 90s. Now I have to tell my parents that. I was at GF's parents' place and she told us something generally unbelievable she read about on Instagram, and I casually asked if that was verified to have actually happened, and her mother very sarcastically replied, "Oh, are you one of those fact checker types, like that is some sort of insult or something to want to know the truth?" I guess my parents and teachers just reinforced the whole don't believe something just because you read it on the internet. Edit, lots of response. I wasn't expecting that. Thanks for engaging the conversation. For anyone making comments about unreliable online fact-checking sites, I was in no way referring to formal fact-checking. I was merely wondering where my GF heard the story. Like, was it just something relayed second, third hand, or an actual video of the event, or a news report, or what? I don't even remember the story. It just sounded too weird to be true and I wanted to learn more if it was verifiable. I'm tired of people complaining about how younger people are terrible as though they weren't the ones that raised those younger people to be what they are. These millennials and their damn participation trophies. Who the fuck were the ones handing them out? They weren't giving them to themselves as children. How we can't fix anything ourselves. Then promptly ask us to fix their Wi-Fi, set up their new phone and figure out why their computer is running slow. We can do plenty, we just have a different skill set. No joke, my dad did this time me. I didn't know how to change my tire on my car at 18. He never showed me, complained about it, and told me to figure it out. Not 10 minutes later his Wi-Fi went out and asked me to fix it. I told him to figure it out. Just had someone the other day ask me, "So why aren't you married?" I'm like, if I met someone worth marrying, then I would. Best response to this is supply chain issues. No one wants to work, we want to work, just not for poverty wages. When I think about it, I don't want to work. I have to work, sad face. I hate how it gone from me getting Facebook as a teenager and my parents being like don't believe everything you see on the internet to them sending me medical research from unverified unreputable sources. And then get all pissy when we fact check it. You kids had it so easy growing up and now your kids have it easier than that. That's the fucking point. We're supposed to make it easier for the next generation. Edit. I should add that boomers and Gen Z say this stuff yet it isn't easier. Life is hard and expensive because they ruined it. And they continue to ruin it but call us lazy because it's beyond our power and ability to fix. Nah bro. The boomers got it right. Light the entire country on fire and cash out before you leave. Die. That way everyone has to fight a megacorp just to get a house. Bonus points of all the infrastructure your parents built. Greatest generation. Completely falls apart just as you're no longer driving 10/10 boomerang to take something that was set up for them and not maintain it for the next generation. Video games are a waste of time. Says the boomer dipshit sitting on the couch, sitting on his phone with Fox News playing in the background. Got told the same thing by an old person for reading a book Mayo. You just have to work harder if you want to buy a house. That's what I did. Yeah well I don't make 50% of the price of a house a year like you did. Just find something that pays more. I'm 55 I still get tired of my parents telling me to find a good church home. What does this even mean? What is a church home? Deleted. My uncle in his 50s was complaining on Facebook after the Super Bowl about the music kids are listening to these days. Dude didn't realize every song they did was 20 years old. I'm 32 so not young not old but definitely hate hearing shit like for example my BFF's dad saying he didn't know he raised 3 girls when he found out my BF and his brother drink tea. Deleted. You should really buy a house and settle down. I'm bloody well trying Karen. Just cause you bought your house in the 60s for 40k and a blueberry off your husband's salary whilst you were a stay-at-home mom. Then sold it for 600k this year to retire off of doesn't mean that it's the same for this generation right now. Far from it in fact. Just shut up. Yeep. Had my old boss sell his house for 850k and bought it for 32k and was complaining he didn't sell for enough. You made over 20x what you paid for it. Room went dead silent. Entitled F. I'm not younger, but I'm fed up with some older people expecting gratitude for all that they have done while taking zero responsibility for the problems that they will leave future generations. Be sure and tell them thank you for your service and then make some otherwise crack when they say they aren't a veteran. Like I just assumed from the way you were talking you made those kinds of sacrifices for our great country. Just pause it. I give my son a heads up that dinner will be ready in X minutes so don't get involved with anything. I'll give a reminder 10-15 minutes before 2. But I game too so I understand. Older folks constantly trying to tell anybody younger than them that they don't know what getting old is. 35-year-old. Damn, I'm starting to feel more tired in the morning and feel a little more sore after exercise than I used to. 55-year-old. You think you're old? You're not old. I'm old. You think that's old? Well wait till you get to be as old as I am. And X200B. It's like they pride themselves on being older and more sore than you and want to put you in your place for even suggesting you notice a difference in your body because of aging. I love my grandparents, but sometimes they really grind my gears. A couple days ago I worked a normal 8-hour day in construction, mostly crawling on a roof to patch it up in the evening. I sat in a bus with the most unergonomic seats imaginable for 2 hours to get to their place and had the audacity to complain about my hurting back. I'm 22. I'm not allowed to have any pain whatsoever. I obviously need to get more into shape. I can have pain when I'm 80. Like them seriously? That I'm wasting my entire purpose as a woman because I don't want kids. Comments like this only made me double down on choosing a hysterectomy over another option for a procedure to reduce my endometriosis pain. I've literally never wanted my own kids. The idea of parenting 24/7/365 has not ever had any appeal to me. I luckily had a super awesome surgeon who understood that and went to bat for me and helped me get this procedure even though I was only 22. The lab that got my uterus to test for other issues found the muscle of my uterus was full of endometriomas. If I'd ever gotten pregnant it could have killed me. So, everyone that told me I'd want that someday can kiss my laparoscopy scars. Tired of people referring to their significant others as the old ball and chain or just talking shit about their wives to friends a lot. It's like their wives are a burden to them. The worst is when some douche just spent 15 minutes dunking on his wife and says to you, "You know what I mean, right?" No man, I don't. My wife is awesome, that's why I married her. I'm an older millennial. I have a good job, own a house, am married, and have 2 kids. It is 2022 and at least half the times I hear someone older reference millennials it's talking about people who are currently the age my cohort was 22 years ago when the millennium was a thing. Apparently, millennial equals anyone younger than my cohort. Boomer equals anyone older than my cohort. Not super young myself, 30, but back in my day, that's just the way it is. No, just no. We should always strive for better. There is no reason to settle for the way things are. The young people always just want to drink and go to parties. 1. No. 2. Don't pretend like you didn't do this to lol. Drink coffee and go to lawn parties. So wild. How sensitive we are. I made a comment on a YouTube video calling a gay couple cute and some fucking boomer stalked my YouTube channel and felt the need to insult me several times. Like I'm not the sensitive one in this situation. This is common. Just start saving, you'll be able to buy a house in no time. Housing market, we don't do that here.